Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to the video. This is Fishing Vlog number 167, and if you remember from last week's video, I had mentioned that the male Plecostomus that was in this tank was in his cave and looked like he was brooding a bunch of eggs. He was going through all the usual behaviors of fanning and all that sort of stuff, and then all of a sudden one day he was just out and swimming around. Like you can see his tail there off on the left, and I said, well, I guess I was mistaken, but as it turns out, no, he had some eggs and fry in there, and there they are, two in the middle. And it was kind of nice to see that they've had batch number 2 now, which is, well, you can never have enough of those guys. Sorry about this format. I'd originally done this, I was going to put it together as a quick short. I was hoping to get her picking up her fry, so I was recorded this a number of times. I fed her because she had this huge mouthful. I mean, it was so large that she could barely swim and breathe. And I think that is what resulted in her spitting them out. And she had picked them up once. And every now and then as she swims by the fry, you'll see she elicits the behavior of the fry to want to get back in her mouth. But she never picked them up ever again. That was it. She was done. And they still have sizable yolk sacs. They'll be fine. A lot of people will just, artificially hatch these guys and then have them in an incubator, and they're fine. It's not how I like to do things because I like the parents to take care of them. I'm not sure if this is her fault in the sense that she's no longer, a good brooding female, but we'll see how these fry grow up. Had one where the female ate a few of her fry. I think in this case she might have as well, and I've had one female who was an awesome parent and just kept care of them for far longer than she needed to. So anyway, we'll see how this goes and see if there is any difference in these fry compared to these ones here. As you can see, these are OB zebras, just like the last batch. This is the ones where the female, I was chasing them around, and I think she ate a couple of them, and they were very, very timid for weeks. Well, as you can see, they've gotten over that completely. They're out and about. They don't mind me. They're no longer camera shy. Well, they are a little bit. If you get too close too quickly, they will scatter, but they're getting much better. And we'll see how they all compare, those 3 batches. I have a bit of a dilemma here. These guys are all going to go, except I'm kind of getting on the edge about possibly keeping a pair back. There's a couple of really nice ones in here, and, well, I like keeping lines going. And these are nice fish. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. Am I going to dedicate a tank to them? That's what it comes down to, because they don't really have a display value. I mean, they go into an aquarium, they find a cave, and they hide there. They have babies, which is kind of cool every now and then, especially for daycares. But anyway, I have to figure that one out. I don't really need the tank space. I still have a lot of tanks that are not being used to capacity, and well, anyway, we'll figure that one out. So, as I had mentioned a little while ago, this tank got cracked during my yearly pressure wash of the floors, and, well, it's time to repair this. So I'm going to drain it down. I took the fish out, and it turns out that the 2 plecos that were in here are male and female, so I put them in the same tank. I'll put a little cave in there. I don't want to breed too many of them because, well, again, I need them, but not too many of them because you have to house them. So I'm draining this down. So initially it was just a water pump and a hose, and I find that shop vacs, wet dries like this, are just so useful for doing this kind of thing. Usually I have to move aquariums for clients, and this gets gravel out, everything. It's like one of those essential tools if you're doing any large amount of fish room stuff. In this particular case, it just gets the last bit of water out. And I'm going to dry this down, clean it up a little bit. I don't have to be too careful with most of it, except that leading edge, of course. So I'm going to clean it a little bit on the outside, and then I'm going to I'll scrub the inside a little bit more and then dry it all out, and then I'm going to let this dry for a couple of days. And then I was going back and forth on if I were properly repairing this, I would cut a piece of glass, 5 mil, that would fit in that corner, like a square piece that would go from where you see where it joins onto where the pipe is, all the way down into the corner, and then stick that all on. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it that way. The cheap, quick, easy way of doing this is just to run a bead of silicone on the inside of the crack. It will work, and if this, well, it's just my basement. If there's a bit of water on the floor, it doesn't matter in the least. It just goes to the floor drain. And this wasn't really leaking even as is, though I was keeping the water a little bit lower. So I don't know, I'll figure out which way to do that. I might do it the proper way, just to show you the way you should do this. Well, technically, the way you should do this is to remove that front pane completely, clean all up, sand down the edges, and put an entire new sheet of glass on. But I'm not going to do that. Like I said, this is my basement. It doesn't need that level of care. So there you go. You can see on the outside there is some water streaks still. That's not important because it is, well, it's the outside. So like I said, I'm going to scrub this down a little bit, dry it all out, and then let that dry for a couple of days. Then just put a fresh bead of silicone on. And it's just 100% silicone. It doesn't need to be anything special. It is strictly acting as a washer. It's just going to keep the water from going out. And that's it. Haven't had any issues with this as far as the plate moving around, which is one of the indicators that more, precise and extensive repairs need to be done. Everything was solid. There was no issues with it moving around. And I ran my finger, which, by the way, be very careful when you do these things, along the edge, just to make sure there wasn't any difference in the height between any of the pieces. They're all still basically just in place. So yeah, I'll do that up, and we'll get that tank back into use. So there's the female. I was trying to record both of them, but he went off somewhere in the back. And I'm going to put something in here, a little cave, and possibly get another batch or another breeding pair of plecos going. Some of the tank below this is where I've been breeding plecos the most. There is a bunch of males, and I'm going to be pulling those out and putting them in clients' tanks, because too many males is bad for breeding when these things. I'm really liking how all the shrimp are doing. I'm hoping that within a short period of time, more will start showing up. Very happy about that. And one other thing I want to mention is I am probably going to take a couple of tanks out of service. They're not ones that you see anyway. They're not ever recorded, well, not in a long time. So I'm going to cut down a bit of that, just because too much time spent doing other things and not enough in the fish room. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave comments. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next video, and bye for now.